So what's going on, guys? It's Boston Model right here, and welcome to another After a While Shadow Fight 3 video, where we are going to be orienting you guys with the Dynasty. We're going to be going through everything the Dynasty have in their card ace hand, all their arsenal, weapons, armors, wares, perks, and also going through all the moves with the unarmed moves, kicks, and the weapon moves itself. And also some shadow abilities to show you guys what they have, and can give you guys a little bit of hint of what to use, and the videos can be improved by your suggestions. So if there's anything that you want to suggest by me, including for the video for the next video, which is going to be orientation of the Heralds video, be sure to leave your comment down below. But for this video, let's focus on the Dynasty. So the Dynasty is known for their acrobatic dance-like style, really fancy, talented style of kicks and fast slashes, which are looking to be elegant. They have elegance, they have a little speed, and they have talent in their own attacks. And let's get down to the main loadout right here that they have. Let's filter that to Dynasty loadout and check out what they have. So the variety of weapons that they do have, for a fact, is composite blade, which is also called match blades. We're also Kwandao over there, and then we got Dao and staffs. Got a variety of staffs, and that's chain knives, nunchucks, strongbow. We're going to be going through all of that. I know you can guys also look through the wear that they have over here as well. Also, we have got deer horns over there. Was that all the weapons? No, we got sabers as well that they have too. Just don't forget about that. I think that was all the arsenal of weapons they have. And they place spike balls, those like spiky thingies that they throw down on the floor as a trap. They throw bombs, they throw round bombs, they also fire bows and arrows, throw shotguns, and have also throwing daggers with boomerangs. And I think that was all, isn't it? Yeah, that was simply it for there. So let me give you a second glimpse of all the armor that they have. This is the Torturous Nightmare armor at the above right there that I just collected. They got Star Shades armor. I also gotten the Crown Defender, not the Crown Defender, it's called the Royal Guardian armor. And then we got the Monkey King armor, and some other Demon Warden armor, Our Glory armor, and some Kraken armor with tribal armor, and that was like dragon armor, wasn't it? Dragon armor, yeah, it was dragon jacket and serpentine cap. There's different types of armors that I do know the name about based on their set that they're in. So let me give you guys another look at all of the armor and stuff that they have over here. There you go. And now let's get to the abilities, all of the special moves that they have for all of the weapons, as the developers intended to have. Maybe they're gonna add some new special moves in the future while broadening up the variety of special moves. It's gonna give us a little bit more stuff to have fun with in the meantime. So hopefully they might be catching up into doing something. They're going to be adding one new weapon though. It's a little bit spoiler right here. You can just skip it with 10 seconds or something. They're going to add Trishaku, which is basically 3 staffs connected into this. It's a nunchuck, but with an extra staff, with an extra pole that you have connected to the weapon itself. That's the Trishaku. But anyways, let's get down to the perks, starting from the rare ones right here. Gonna be going through the special moves as well for this video. So we got Floorwork Kick, Locust Ray Kick, and Torque Kick. We also got Harsh Wind for Strongbow, Turnabout for Deer Horns, Whiplash Chain Knife, Hummingbird for Nunchaku, and Wooden Hailstorm for Staff, and Blade Dance for rare special moves, and the Saber. The perks that we have over here is Fortification for both armor and health, which is to reduce your enemy's damage for a short amount of time. We also got Shadow Leash, which is basically a shadow energy stealing, which is 90% of that damage that you did. Vengeful Tiger, people might have it in the helm, and that makes it to where if you get shocked, you have a higher chance of shocking back your opponent with a head hit. Actually, it just gives you over 50% chance to shock your enemy with the head hit after you got shocked yourself. As Spirit is also a really cheeky power that Dynastian players use. They use this to gain shadow energy at their will, whether they want to roll, dash forward, swap, or jump. They will get Spirit. They will get a little bit more shadow energy, and they can use this for their own advantage to try to dodge attacks and actually gain a lot of shadow energy and go at your opponent with the shadow form. Another strong rare perk is a backstabber, which is to ignore a block and deal more damage when you are attacking from behind. You can even throw your opponent and do a sweep, which I will be showing you in a little bit, and then you can throw your opponent and then do a sweep, and after that you can do whatever move that you like to do to deal damage to your opponent. Let's go on to the epic cards that they have for the Dynasty. We got Bentrick. I have not collected that yet, but I know how it looks like. It's the only move for the composite glaive or the match blades. Also got Hawk's Feather for Dadao, Scrapper for Deer Horns, Striker Shape for Chongo, Dazzling Break for Guandao, and Wing Beat for Sabers, Trip Legs for Guandao, and Poison Skin for armor and helmet to actually return all that damage slowly over time, meaning that it's not like Legion's damage return, that whenever it happens instantly. All of the damage will be transferred instantly, but it's not full damage. But this is a different twist because it can deal full damage, but you can do a weaker attack and make it a little bit weaker, although it's gonna in a way stack up because you replace one poison card with another. That's how Poison Skin differ from damage return. I also got Weakness, which is to reduce enemy. It's the same as Fortification. It's the same as Fortifications. It just actually, the difference is that when you hit your opponent, you will make them weak, and you don't even know when they will counterattack. But if you know you get counterattack lock, then Weakness should help you survive a little bit after getting counterattack. We also got Regeneration for Helm and Armor, and Dynasty players would actually like to pair it with Poison Skin, so they actually just replenish their health and at the same time return the damage back to the opponent right here. And then we got the one perk right here, which is called Plug, which is to actually shock your enemy after performing a combo. And this one is a really nasty perk. It can take off by will if you're really good at doing combos with Dynasty, because Dynasty is well known for combos. Then Pluck can be a thing to mess around your opponent with once we have PvP, and once they see the Pluck logo popping on their bar, then they know that this guy wanted to go combo at you just to get that activated. Pluck is a really nasty Dynasty perk because it just simply needs a combo, and Dynasty is built for combos. So if you manage to land a combo or keep a combo, the chances are right there to actually shock your enemy, and the enemy have to be aware of the fact that the Dynastian might wheel one of those perks onto them. But I told you from the last video of the Legion that there was one perk that could counteract that, and that was Iron Grip. Because you see that Pluck, Pluck gives you a little bit chance to shock your enemy after doing a combo. But then if you use Iron Grip, you can actually exploit that for your advantage. But who's gonna actually have that ace in the hand? And it's not everyone who uses Iron Grip, thinking that maybe if he faces a Dynasty player, he may have Pluck on his hand right there, based on his readings on the abilities. But it's not the readings of the abilities that can indicate anything that big. Let's move on to the legendary cards. We got Cannonball, special move, Armor, Accusation Dadao, special move, Knife Juggler, Chain Knife, special move, Somersault for Jungle, and Typhoon for Sabers, Ape Rampage for Nunchucks, Skyfall for Staff, and no reference from the movie, it's actually just from Shell Fight 2. Those I think it does this. Yeah, those two attacks were from Shadow Fight 2. They're actually the main base attacks from Shadow Fight 2. Also got poison to cause your enemy to lose the extra damage. It actually doubles the damage over time. It's not like precision. Poison is like precision, but precision happens immediately and you need a critical hit for it to happen. But poison lets you double the damage over time. So if you, for example, did a weaker attack, you may be able to stack your poison with a stronger poison when you deal stronger damage. Let's move on. We got Rising Tide, which is to gain 60% of your attack damage as a Shadow Energy after combo 3, which is to gain more Shadow Energy after you're doing a combo. Whenever you're doing a combo, you're going to get more Shadow Energy. You can even pair that with Spurt to get even more Shadow Energy by rolling and maybe doing an attack after that. We got Wolverine to deal even more damage after a successful attack. And then we got Corner Cat, which is to gain more damage if you're low health. And this is actually the opposite of Predator, which is to deal more damage to the enemy whenever the enemy is low on health. And the last but not least, the Flurry Whip, which is to increase the damage whenever you're doing a combo. Doesn't really stack from what I've known, but after 3 hits, I think your overall damage will increase by 20%. And if you keep a good fancy combo with Dynasty, you're gonna love having Flurry as your equipped legendary perk in one of your setups. That was all the perks I have to show you guys. I'm probably talking through a lot just for perks right here. But let's actually get down to the special moves that I have available barehanded. So the training room is the same, and actually that's actually a unique scene because Dynastian unarmed intro pose starts like that. The training ball just straight forward dashed because the mechanic of the training room is whenever you are off the screen distance, off the maximum screen distance, the opposing training bot will actually dash at you. So this is the intro pose for Dynasty. It's actually the same. It's not like Legion where some armors give a different animations like you see with the Swamper for example. But let's get down to the moves right here. We're going to be starting off with the difference that it has. Of course, it has duck. It has a different jump. They have a different jump. They have the same kind of duck, same kind of roll forward and roll forward and roll backward, but the forward and the back jump is a double flip jump forward and back. That is their difference. So jump forward, they do a double flip forward, and in back jump they do double flip back. And wall jump is like this. They do a fancy wall jump like that. It just walks up the wall and does a barrel jump over there. Just do it one more time and that's it. Alright, let's do the kick. So first we have a basic kick. This basic kick can actually be 3 sequence kick. As you can see right there, you can do 1, you can do 2, or you can do 3. It's really good for combo extensions or just to neutralize your opponent at close range. Whenever you end up at close range, you extend your combo with this close by attack right here. Really good to make your opponents tense at that range. And then we got the upper jump kick, which is called an axe kick from Shadow Fight 2, which is to jump flip forward, and it also takes a little bit of time. So personally, when I use this jump kick, when I use this up kick, I would like to use it as a guarding attack onto the opponent on relatively this kind of distance. Whenever they try to do a down attack, I can actually use this one to dodge, or just use the basic jump to actually dodge his lower attack, especially when he wields the weapon called Iaido Katana, which I will be going through in Shadow Fight 3 and how those moves work for you guys who are new. Yeah, should have forgotten to talk about if you're new and don't know much about Shadow Fight 3, then welcome, because here you have a chance to learn the essentials, knowing the moves, knowing how to fight, and also letting you guys know the perks so that you can build a really cool build that you can try out onto your opponent if you can think of a really deadly build based on mixing all faction armors or going purely just one faction. There's tons of fun into picking up perks and see how the cards play out with the character that you're playing with to make a strong fighter. But now we're focusing on pure factions in this video right here. Alright, so with that covered away, where was I? Ah, the up kick, which is to guard. Yes, okay, let me throw you around and let me do the sweep. So this is a forward sweep, and you can also forward double sweep. The forward sweep, the first forward sweep is actually used to get to your opponent, unless you do a crit and which will knock him down, basically. But if you use the first attack, you can actually follow up with a throw. Really good for extending combos, and then doing a punch afterwards. But if you want to do the double, it just repels the opponent off to a small distance where you can do a guarding attack or whatever attack you desire that will be fitting in this distance right here. Then we got the back kick of Dynasty. Also would prefer to use it on guard because it mostly stands whenever I'm doing it. So whenever I'm doing a back kick, I will probably do it as a guard. I can also do it right here and then hope for opponent not to have enough recovery to actually let me throw that opponent down. And then we got strong kick. It's a jump forward. It's a forward charging kick. You flip around, you actually spin around and land your leg onto the opponent's head. Just like that. Lands your leg onto the opponent's head. Really good for trying to reach close by to the opponent a little bit, so that you can actually have some close combat exchange with long range combat. That was that, and then we got the flip kick. And by the way, I'm showing you guys all the arrows so that you know what so you guys know which kind of combinations I'm talking about right here. So that's the flip jump kick, forward jump kick right there. It isn't divided into any sequences, it just does a flip which has 2 leg strikes to the opponent. Really good for extending combos and commonly used by dynastian players. Has been watching through their videos, all of that. You can even knock them down and then follow up with that kick, for example. So, for example, like in a sweep, throwing off right there, and then they will likely to just do that. Just do the flip kick. This also works on all armor if I'm not mistaken, but more effective on the heralds against heralds and dynasty armors, since they have keep up whenever you throw them backwards and doing the flip kick. So let's do the jump kick, which is like this. The same principle. Whenever you jump up, they have their own jump kick in their fashion and style. This one may seem to cover a little bit more range, just like that. Okay, not like that, but you have to jump and midair press the kick button to do the kick. Covers a little bit range. You can see where the foot goes right there, and that's the hitbox of the foot and the leg, of where the leg is going. And then we got the forward jump kick, the double flip jump kick, which is on the same principle as Legion's jump and kick midair. You jump up and kick midair, their own fashion way, just like that. And people will like to use the moves of, also works on herald armor to actually counteract throwing weapons, unless it's actually harder to do that on Axis, since they have a wide area, so you have to actually anticipate the animation of the right time to do it, to be able to dodge the initial projectile and actually land a counter attack. But the basic concept is to go for the opponent and actually end up close range. If you happen to be at long range, you just jump up and then do this, and you're already close range to your opponent. Let's do the punches. We got one punch, which is surprisingly really close, but it pushes a little bit forward. Let me show you again, just like that. It pushes a little bit forward. That's just the throw. The throws are all the same. If you don't know what a throw is, all you gotta do is stand close, foot to your opponent, and then do forward or back with the fist. That will determine whether your throw is forward or back. If it's forward, then it's gonna not do that, but I mean do this. But if it's a back throw, for you good new guys, it's gonna do like this. Alright, so the basic punch is divided into 3 sequences. good for pushing the opponent a little bit back, but if you do only one punch, okay, not like that, but one punch and then throw it around because you're close to your opponent. But it's just keeping the opponent tense at a relatively same range because you're doing one punch. You can also do 2 punch. I said 2 punch, not 3. Just like that, and you're actually getting yourself close to your opponent, so you can actually do 2 punches. 2 punches and then knock and then throw your opponent. But doing 3 will push them back. Alright. Let's do the up one. This one pushes forward a little bit and also really rapid. Good to make your opponent tense whatever they are thinking. Let's do an attack on this guy because he's unarmed. I'm just gonna push forward and do that and say, hey, dude, don't even think about it. I can do this. So you better think about something else. And then we got the down attack, which is also used to keep your opponent tense and also push them a little bit farther back than the rest of the moves. Just like that, and you push them all the way a little bit farther, just like that. Then we got the back move, which can be divided into 2 sequences. You can do this, and that can also lead you to a throw, but if you do 2, that's gonna put your opponent real tense at this range. It pushes him a little bit back though, or you can just do 3 sequences to push him off, just like that. Then we got the strong punch, just like that. The strong punch is actually also pushing forward. There's even a player who just did this, throw forward and just spam punch and actually managed to throw back again because the player was actually standing so close that you can actually just throw your opponent again. I think just like that. Okay, not in that range, but in that range apparently. But anyways, that's the strong punch. You can leap forward, I think just about here. Let me check the range because it covers a really good range. So whenever you're throwing your opponent and pushing him back, you can wait for landing a head hit with that, or to make your opponent tense by attacking from a little bit farther with a strong punch. Let's get down to some kicks, shall we? We got the cannibal. No, not the cannibal. This is actually called Locust Raid that I presented you in the beginning. Every faction has 4 special moves for now, but probably they're going to be introducing more kicks in the future. Hopefully they're going to be introducing more kicks. But this is actually the Locust Raid. It's actually not the full sequence. The full sequence is like this. Can be used to push back, but I actually personally prefer to use this. If there's any move that will define the dynastian combo stringing character that you can make, I would actually choose Locust Ray, because for one, just doing that is rapid and makes the opponent tense. For 2, in a corner, if you successfully land this attack, you can guarantee a throw after that and extend the combo. And doing a sequence of combos will always land close by against your opponent. It will put you close by against your opponent. Believe it or not, Locust Raid is actually the go-to move when it comes to combos, because and even if the opponent blocks in the corner, you can do it again and then surprise the opponent with another move, or wait until you actually just hit with that move to be doing the throw right there. So that's the Locust Raid. You can even do it with 3 kicks, I believe. Yes, that happened. Not the 4th one. There we go. And you can push your opponent back, or do the full sequence. That works too. Oh, now I just landed a crit, but it's supposed to push the opponent back further. Let's show you guys the other special moves that I was talking about. Next on our special move I'm going to be showing you guys is Torque, and their sequence is like that. It is actually rapid. It pushes onto the opponent and creates a combo of 3 strikes. Really good to show small footwork talent where you're spinning around and doing easy looking kicks for a dynastian to do. You can even do for 1, and in the corner that will be open to a throw and extend your combo just like that. But you can do 2 to push your opponent a little bit back, or oh, that was a crit, but to push your opponent a little bit further. We can just give you a demonstration of how it can actually play with this special move. Just like that. There you got an example of playing with a special move, just like that. And then continue with that as well, that works too. Alright, next special move. The next one that we have right here is called floor work, and the sequence is like this. It looks like also another, but it looks pretty hard to do because of all the spins and also the double kick that it does in the third strike. The first one is a sweep, and then the second one is a basic kick, spin kick. But then you do double leg spin kick in the third one and finish one with 2 legs combined together to do a 2-legged sweep. Let me do it again. Just show you guys again. Just like that. You can all divide into separate sequences based on just making your opponent tense. Just like that. Or just do that to open up for a throw. That works too. Again. And also open for a back attack. If you actually are daring to do a back attack, do 3. Throw you to see the range. Okay, that did not go 3. There. And 4. So they're all to push back. The third and fourth sequence are actually, the third part and the fourth part sequence is actually to push back your opponent, but can still make your opponent tense by showing off a little bit floor work fancy combo with this special move right there. The final one I wanted to show is probably people's favorite in terms of dynastian style and character, and that is the cannonball, which I was mistaken for when I was thinking, oh, I had cannonballs, so I just gotta show that off, but I actually had locust ray, which is my preferable special move. But there you go, that's cannonball, which is what I would say people's preferred special move when it comes to dynastic character, because it does a barrel kick and causes a long range, great for recovery attack. Just do a barrel, the first barrel roll right there to land your first hit. You can just land your first leg kick right there, or kick your opponent back to push them a little bit back, or jump to do the rest of the moves and keep your opponent tense while you're getting up, doing the barrel kick to show you your fancy moves and kicking him as you're doing it. First weapon I'm going to be showing you guys is the dynastian nunchucks, and nunchucks are fast, unpredictable weapon that you're using onto your opponent. Right here, I'm going to be showing you guys how I can do it. I can also do really fancy dancing looking moves that I'm going to be showing you real soon. But that's the intro pose of the weapon itself. The basic attack is 3 attacks. The basic punch is 3 attacks, and as you see right there, I just used pluck to show you guys the effect of pluck. You can do upper move, which is to down and up, but let's actually not be too hasty right there. Let's get down and break down the sequence. The 1, actually, is there actually only, no, let's divide it into 2 sequences. So you can just push back, or just keep them tense. Yeah, this is just to keep them tense to begin with. The upper move starts with a low, you might say a low jab or something, but it swings your nunchuck in low to smash your opponent, and then goes up to do an uppercut with a nunchuck. That's how the upper move works. Really good to push the opponent back for a little distance to do sweep and throw, for example. Then we got the down one, which is used on the close range, whether you want to make the opponent tense or trying to reach your opponent with the second move to prevent them from doing any kind of pushing attacks. You can repel them with the downer attack, but you have to anticipate quite a bit and use it at the right times to be able to use the downer attack. Then we got the back attack, which is to push the opponent and also which is to go at the opponent and push them back like that. It's divided into 3 sequences. Let me show you again, just like that. Or come on, just like that. Oh, yeah, it's divided into 2. I see. Is it? No, it's divided into only 2, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then we got the strong move of the nunchuck, which takes a little bit of time. Usually people would probably defer this whenever the opponent is knocked down. We can actually use that to guard and counterattack, because you move a little bit back. Your character moves a little bit back before doing a strike with the nunchuck, and you'll also do a head hit. If it's a normal hit, you will do a head hit. It's like this, and there's the head hit. The special moves I'm going to be showing you is one, the hummingbird, which is used to reach the opponent, but you also need to stand in a little bit close range to actually do that, because look at that, I just missed the first move. But you can also reach with the 3 other moves, so you can just go for 1 or 2. Wait, where's 2? There, that's the 2. That's the 2 one. And or 3, or the full sequence. You can divide sequences, but they all share the same purpose of hitting your opponent and pushing him back with the force sequence kick, with the force sequence attack right there. Really good to swing around with your nunchuck and showing a little bit intermediate talent with the weapon itself. If this is the kind of talent you want to show with the nunchuck, then you might want to prefer the move for yourself. The next attack I'm going to be showing you is called, which is the only 2 attacks that exist for nunchucks, it's called Ape Rampage. And people will say that it's more fancier with Ape Rampage because it is rapid at the beginning, and you can also deliver deadly blows to your opponent on chest range, on chest height, all the way to the head, followed by some nunchuck swings, spins, and some kicks to show you, and ends up with a fantastic looking jump like there. People actually like to spam this because whenever you land your final blow, you can always throw your opponent, and if they are wearing a herald armor, they would always like if they're wearing Herald or Dynastian armor, chances are they would like to throw them backwards and wait them to keep up before doing this again and again. But you can divide it by just doing 1 and actually be able to throw your opponent, if I'm not mistaken. This looks like they could throw particularly, but you can do 1 to irritate your opponent. Come on, throw please. Or do that. You can divide it into all sequences that I'm going to be showing you right now. That's push back. Come on, I'm not even hitting. Look at how deadly close I am, but I'm not hitting. And that is when you don't want to push your opponent back, but just want to keep the combo going. And after that, you might do a kick afterwards, just like this. And like that, if it's a crit, just let him be. And then follow up by a down, for example. But people would like to do it the full sequence with this weapon right here. And there you go. I knocked you down once again, training bot. Poor you. But let's move on to another weapon. Next weapon I'm going to be showing you is Chongo. And by the way, several moves of this weapon is actually similar, but there's a couple of attacks that are different, or I think it was only 1 attack that is different because the rest is the same. So and I'll be explaining what that is. But let's get down to it. The basic move, really good to show some combos right there, and also a quick pluck on that as well. But the basic attack is to straightforward press the buttons all together to do all the full sequence. You can even divide it to all separate sequences. Just like that. And that's all the sequences. Next we got an upper attack, which is used to go at your opponent and also push them a little bit back. Next is the down attack, which is actually what makes the Chongo and the sabers different, because sabers have a different down attack than Chongo. But Chongo has a move that's similar to the claws down attack. I shouldn't be talking too much about the similarities, but it's a little bit worth to know, small knowledge right there. So it picks up the opponent, getting them close, and then slashing him with the secondary strike. You can even just pull him towards you, just like that. and then can be able to do a forward throw if I'm not mistaken. Not really a forward throw, but that's the whole idea. It takes your opponent close to you so they can do whatever move they would like to. And we got the back attack, and that's actually mostly used for recoveries, or when your opponent is down, can push him even more back if the opponent tends to be down, or just lying down and actually not keep up that fast. But it pushes the opponent a little bit back into a mid-range, or you can do it towards your opponent to get close to the opponent. Really good for a recovery get by close combat right there. Then we got the strong move, which is mostly used for guarding against the opponent. Let's say the opponent anticipates now an upper attack or a slow heavy attack. You can do this. If they're anticipating anything too late, if they do an attack while you're doing this because it's a little bit slow, chances are they gotta get counter attack with this. Really good for guard whenever the hero is perhaps doing the rapid jump kick towards you. Then this attack should help deter that. The first special move I'm going to be showing you, because the weapon has 3 special moves. The first one is called Harsh Wind. Just works like that. You can also divide it into sequences, just like that. And the finishing sequence will push the opponent. No, it actually doesn't push the opponent, it just keeps the opponent onto a close by range. But it shows the possibility combinations and the beauty of rotating the weapon 2 times and then finishing up by combining them together to land the final hook edge hit, just like that. Let's show you guys the other special moves. Second special move for Jungle, it's called Striking Chain, and it works like this fashion. You can divide into several sequences, and I'm just gonna throw my opponent back a little bit and do this. Oh, come on. There. That's one possibility. Oh, come on. You can do that without doing the final blow. I know that. Let me show you guys that it is possible. Yeah, just like that. A little bit more beauty to it because you're combining the 2 tongos to make a mini whip to make a segmented looking like whip to your opponent, and gives a nice touch for the Shango style whenever you want to do it. This was actually a subject for animation realistic nerf, because initially it happened immediately, almost immediately, but now it takes a little bit of time for you to jump leap before you even do it yourself. But it's a really nice touch into the, also another nice option to put a touch into your jungle style. Also really good for combo, for part of your combo string that you're running with a dynastian. If you like this move, then I can suggest recommending this move by all its glory and elegance. For the third and the final special move, we got Somersault, which is to show a little bit of talent. Also uses combined jungle to make the segmented whip again, but this time to do a lower snatch on the foot, just like that. Also pushes the opponent far back whenever you're doing this special move right there. And this weapon's first attack was also immediate until they actually made it a little bit slower for realistic purposes, and also for fair games as well. But this gives you a flying attack combined with footwork, and combining in the end right there. You can also be divided into sequences and pay attention to how far it pushes back. Okay, come on. Come on. Wait, hold on. Oh, so wait, there's no. Well, I guess there's no simply just foot after that. After the foot, the character does the final initial slash. Okay, well there you go. That's all of the info I gotten on this weapon. The next weapon is the weapon I was telling that the moves are similar, and the way you're gonna prove that is this. So yeah, I told you that the difference is the back move. So the basic move is the same. It also has a close by attack as well. If you guys are new and don't know, there's actually a close by attack. When you stand leg to leg distance between your opponent, you can do a rapid, for some weapons you can do a rapid knock onto your opponent just like that to make him a little bit tense, also push him off to do another throw if it's in a corner, a back throw or something. When you actually throw forward straight into a corner, it will automatically do a back throw, just so you guys are aware of that. Alright, so the basic move is same compared to Shango. The upper move is also same compared to Shango, but the down move walks towards the opponent and does a blade slash, just like that. It like chops down, like it was trying to chop down the bottom of the wood. Just like that, the chopping. The back move is also the same. Really good for using recovery, all of that. It's really good for recovering yourself after getting knocked. And the heavy move is also the same. The strong slash is also the same. Let's do this. I'm gonna throw you back there for now as well. There we go. And the special move I'm going to show you is it's called Blade Dance. It's actually from Shadow Fight 2 that they've taken from the special move right here. So let me show you guys that we can do. It can flap around with the blades right there, or flap and jump, just like that. Let me show you a little bit of example of how this can all work, just like that. Push you back and then land a hit just like that and push you back further. Back move, throw, do this, and perhaps even this if the opponent anticipates it. So that's an example. But this can push your opponent a little bit far back, or you can use that to just annoy your opponent a little bit. But if you do the full sequence, it will push your opponent back. Here we got the wing beat special move, which is working like this, divided into 3 sequences. You can just slash, double slash, or slash shift. Wait, is that only 3 or 2? Hold on. Oh yeah, you can. It's divided into 3. You can do that and do the full sequence. It's not that many people who like to prefer that, but it's actually really rapid. It's actually super rapid. Probably the fastest of all the current special moves, or all the 3 special moves, and the starting attack is actually phenomenally fast and unpredictable, and you can continue your slashes with backspin and stab them to push them forward back. Third and final special move I'm going to show you is called Typhoon, and it's also another Shadow Fight 2 reference, because these dual swords wielded by Shadow, we're having these 2 kinds of special moves, the Blade Dance and the Typhoon. And before, Typhoon was also immediate. It started chopping opponents immediately. It started chopping around with the special move immediately. And as you can see, it's like a fancy looking like special move. It spins, it just makes you spin with the blade itself, dealing devastating damage to your opponent, and also can push your opponent back in a brutal dynastian manner. This can also be divided into several sequences, and not just sequence and throw. I said several sequences. And wait, it's divided into 3 sequences, where the first attack can be by itself, but then the next attack is double, not by itself. Really interesting. But it shows the strength of Dynasty by spinning around in a typhoon, like the dynastians may tend to be, with the rising tide. This weapon is called chain knife because it's really long. It's chained, and is attached with a knife, and also a little bit weight, if I'm not mistaken. Let's get down to the moves, basic moves. We got the basic move, which is 4 sequence, and also perfect to push your opponent back. You can divide it as well. Just like that. Come on, I can do 3. Yeah, see right there. I did 3 right there. Then we got the upper attack. Lower attack. Let's show a little bit of the upper attack first, because it makes you walk a little bit before doing the upper attacks, which can make your character look really cheeky. Just throwing up the chain knives. But the chain knife is not really used that much of the players because of its slow weapon. So therefore, it might be considered the most difficult Dynasty weapon out there to use because of its attacks not being that fast. It has a medium speed on most of the attacks. The down attack, as I showed, has 2 sequences, right? Has four strikes, and it starts from below and then gradually builds itself up in a spinning manner with the blade itself. You can even divide it too. You can just do a small counter attack just for counter attack, or wait, I think it should work. Okay. Ah, so it's only 1. Okay, so it's divided to 3 sequences. Well, I didn't even do. Well, it's not everything I did prepare beforehand, but now we know a little bit more stuff, me and you. So that's the 3 divided sequences. Then we got the back attack. We can also just divide it into 2 by just jumping around, or strike a little bit far range with the secondary strike, and I think you can reach as far as this, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, wow. What a great logic. You guys see that? It actually hit. Although the blade wasn't actually hitting itself, because it didn't prick the opponent. It was bent away from the opponent. But anyways, that's the power of the back attack. It can damage your opponent from a good range. It can damage your opponent in almost full screen range, believe it or not. But it is perfect. This is perfectly used for counter attacking. This might be faster than all the other attacks, and it might be the fastest attack in the mash blade, but the chain knife right here. Then we got the strong attack, which is used to just bother the opponent. Hey, I see your opponent right there. It's gonna bother you from afar whenever the opponent's from afar. So that means if your opponent happens to be far, you can just do that move for the sake of being annoying. Hey, I'm gonna do it again, so it's just gonna do the heavy attack. And it also targets the head, so it can do a really nasty head hit, just like that. Then the special move I'm going to be showing you is called Whiplash, which is a bunch of fancy looking spins that your dynastian character can do. I'm going to do it again. There you go. You can even divide it into several sequences. Alright, come on, sequence, please. I also have 6 strikes, so probably a lot of strikes just for one attack, which is one more than just the basic slash of the sabers and the jongos of the weapon. Here's an example gameplay that I would like to use for the chain knife itself. Alright, let me show you another special move, because this weapon features 2 special moves. This one and the knife juggler. I'm gonna show you right now. The final battle jump right there. Yep, it's the same fashion as cannonball. It's the same fashion as cannonball, if you might want to say it like that. And it can hit 4 times if you're actually standing really close to your opponent. I'm gonna show you again that it can actually hit 4 times. You actually have to stand really close for it to land, because if you miss the second attack, then the opponent may block your third attack. So it's actually meant to be used on a really close range and do the knife juggler. But it's actually a really fancy move. I personally think it's a fancy move myself, and I think other people may think it's a really fancy move. But also, but the chain knife, the knife juggler, and the whiplash, they compete. Whiplash competes really well as well because people are using it to throw spam with it as for a dynastian combo. But this can also serve really well as a little bit fashion, in a fashion in its own way, by just reaching the opponent, which is a hit, which then you retract all of those chains by just doing the cannonball first kick and actually release the dagger from your opponent, making it look really fancy. If you like that move, be sure to equip it whenever you have it. Staff, pretty basic looking like you might want to say, but let's get down to it and show why it's also a really strong and also cozy weapon to use. We got the basic attack, and that was actually a crit, which I didn't really attempt, but it happened. It is meant to just keep the distance, maintaining the distance to the opponent, like many other dynastian basic moves right there. Then can also divide into several sequences, just like that. Pardon me. Roll around, throw, and do the basic sequence just like that. Then we got the upper attack. Back in the beta, the early release of the game, this was only one move. The upper attack only had one move, but now it has two moves. And same with the lower attack. The lower attack in the betas and early stages of the game had only one move. Now it is with two moves. It works like this. And it's really good to counteract an opponent, whatever the heroes try to do a strong kick, and you're doing this to deter them and actually keep them down while they're all falling down, waiting to just get up again. Really nice deterrent right there. Then we got the back wheel, which is looking to be used as a counter attack, jump and counter attack, because you jump a little bit back, spin around, and then spinning with the staff itself. Back attack also was with only one attack, but now it is with two strikes. So most of these attacks was actually single strikes before the end of the betas, and after some time they added the weapon, they added the extra strike with the weapon itself to add some more elegance, and also to have more flow and more strikes available for staff itself. Then we got the strong one, which is looking to be really brutal. It looks really brutal, and it is brutal because it leaps forward and smashes down the staff onto your opponent, dealing heavy damage to your opponent, and can guarantee a head hit if it can. Look like it guarantee a head hit. I think it's on the edge that it lands a head hit. Hold on. I think over here because it has a very great reach. It has a great reach with this weapon. Can be used to get up or push your opponent from far, and then do this heavy attack. Straightforward, hold whenever your opponent is far, and hope to land that heavy attack onto your opponent. First special move I'm going to be showing is the wooden, well, not that, but wooden hailstorm, which is actually something that people find actually hard to use, because the first attack is medium speed, and you have to be really close. You can even be countered by fast basic attacks by heroes or other dynastian weapons. But that's the wooden hailstorm right there. You can just do one to just knock him, or just smack him while maintaining the distance, or do the full sequence. And on that occasion, I actually managed to push him back severely, just significantly. Let me do it again to give a full demonstration. Okay, bro. I said just like that, and it pushes the opponent a little bit back as well. And the Skyfall, as I said, is the same as Shadow Fight 2 staffs. It's actually the same as the Shadow Fight 2 staff, and my already at 3 combo hit and already shocking the opponent. That's actually surprising though. Well, that's that chance, dude. So all you gotta do is smack down just like this. It just smacks down, it just swings the staff down, makes it bounce because it's not super rigid. It is meant to be built with a little flexibility to have that bouncy effect, making it a flexible weapon and can open for varieties of attacks, such like that one where the staff bounces up real high when you dump them on the ground, and for that gives you an opportunity to leap up and do the secondary turn attack, just like that. Do one, you can also do one just like that, or do the other one, or do the full sequence. Works really well. Can also give a little bit of a counteraction to your opponent because it's not that fast. As you can see, the first attacks needs a little bit of time, but it covers a good range, making your opponent try to anticipate a back attack too late, making sure that you can actually hit with this weapon right here. Now this weapon is Deer Horns. The Deer Horns weapon is really rapid. It's really rapid, really fast, and it's like a replacement of just steel knuckles. This is the hand knuckle, if you want to call it like that. Let's get down to the basic moves. Like that. That's how you punch. And actually, many of these weapons, I think 3 of the weapons has 3 moves of the weapons are the same as the unarmed moves of the Dynasty armor. But the first one is not the same. It punches forward and then does an uppercut before doing the thrust punch again. You can even divide it into sequences just like that to give a little more, make your opponent tense while maintaining your distance. Then we got an upper attack, which is the same, but with the weapon it can give it more area and thus more range and reach to your opponent. The down attack is also the same with a little bit extended hitbox because using the Deer Horns. Back attack is also the same. You can even extend that too. You can even divide that too. That was not dividing, that was throwing. Just like that. Oh, that was a special move. I'll show you a little bit about that. But the back move with its increased area, with its increased hitbox, because of wielding the weapon, will make it easier to actually land a hit. Although it still is relatively hard, so I still prefer to use it as a guard move for the weapon itself. Then we got the strong attack of the Deer Horn, which is going at your opponent by thrusting both of those Deer Horns towards your opponent. And a throw with that strong attack right there will push the opponent far away. It can also be used to surprise the opponent from a mid-long range, just like that. The special move that I'm going to be showing is called Turnabout. Its 3 moves can be really good to push back or actually get close to your opponent, just like that, and being able to throw whenever you land a hit with your first initial blow. You're freely open to do a throw or another attack right after that. And as I said, you can divide sequences. Let me show a gameplay because I keep forgetting showing gameplay examples of the weapon itself. The weapon comes with great elegance, fast movements, and high availability of combos like any other Dynasty weapon. It's meant to do it. If you like Deer Horns and you like these combos that I perform and wanted to perform it yourself, this is the way that you can be doing too. I have to say, I must prefer this more personally. It's called Scrapper and works like this. Goes into a close mid-range and also spins around from ground stance into a jump stance while finishing off with a hit on the leg right there. Can even just do the first sequence, divide it into several sequences. I'll show you a gameplay with this to show you how dangerous the Scrapper special move can be. Just like that, throw. Now we'll do this and kick you up a little bit more before I land you with the Scrapper move right there, and just push you back straightforward, just like that, with only weapons and feet. This polearm weapon is called Quandao with flexible strength and blades under control. You can even reach and stab your opponent from a little bit farther distance with the polearm weapon, like you use with spears and naginatas later on in a hero video. Anyways, this is Quandao and this is the basic move of it. It has a very nice reach into it, and will follow up by you going towards the opponent, landing the 2 next blows, just like that. You can also divide it, just like that, and do this full sequence. Then we got the upper attack, which is used to go towards your opponent while maintaining your distance. Really good for maintaining your distance, really good for making your opponent tense at the same range. Then we got the lower attack of the weapon itself. It's a disco lookalike move. You can divide it into 1 and 2 attacks as well. A 3 will be the one that can frustrate your opponent a lot. It doesn't cover half, it may cover almost half screen with this, or just quarter of the screen with the attack by itself. It's a really nice move to deter your opponent. Whatever the hero character is doing, the strong kick, you can just easily deter that with the down attack, lower attack of the Guandao, making sure that the opponent will take on to face the next to suffer the next damage that you do with the lower attack. The back attack is a little bit cheeky because that was not all the available hits you can do. You can actually land 3 hits with the weapon itself. By going forward, you can land 3 hits with the weapon. And there's no divided sequence, but it's a nice tactical rush at the opponent, and that is the heavy attack of the weapon that we're going to be showing again. Really nice to do whenever you get oh sucker, let me just do this at you to get back and get real close to the opponent. Critical shot with this will actually knock down your opponent into a flattened down opponent. It's a really nice brutal attack, just like the staff itself, when you actually jump up and smash the opponent down towards your opponent in that manner. It is, although slow, but it has a far reach itself. It has a really far reach and will make yourself as a dynastian character look really dangerous. Special move I'm going to be showing you, this one is called Dazzling Break. It's really nice to show some power and combo with the dynastian itself, as the dynastian itself. Deadly and talented. That's the dynastian. That's dynastian. Might be the dynastian code for somebody right there. Let me show you some gameplay with the Dazzling Break. As it's a great talent right there. Wow, and that's the cannibal possibility. Do that. Now I'll go for heavy, low, and then push you a little bit back. And maybe I will do it even more, but then I will continue doing this. I will just kick you, throw it again, and then smash you down, and perhaps continue surprising you with the deadly looking Dazzling Break. This weapon has also another special move called Triplex, which is also another special move that was from Shadow Fight 2, but that move was from a futuristic looking spear that you could obtain in the chapter 7. I think it was the chapter 2 or 3, I'm not even entirely sure. It's been a long time since I've been playing Shadow Fight 2, but that is the Triplex itself. You can divide it into several of the same sequences that I'm going to be showing you. I said the second move, please. There. And you can even push them back with the third sequence. Let me show you another gameplay right here with the weapon itself. Push them a little bit forward. Might be doing that very often, and then throw you. Do that. Basic combo, and then continue with a special move. Maybe just do a little bit upper, take intense, and go towards your opponent with the back move. Surprise him all the time with the deadly pole arm Guandao. And the second final weapon I'm going to be showing you guys is called Dadao. The Dadao is a big blade. It's a big two-handed blade used by the dynastian. It comes with great agility and also great slashes, along with the giant blade that it can shape up right there. Basic move is actually really rapid. As you can see, the 3 sequence attacks, starting with the 1 rapid attack you can use close by to actually make a really nasty surprise to your opponent. Next, actually we can divide that just like that. And the next move is called And next move is the upper attack. And I just poked him a little bit right there to show you the upper attack. But this is how the upper attack works. It thrusts forward and then spins up the 2 next attacks. You can even divide this up into 2 sequences. Next we have a down attack, which is also similarly to how described the down attack, the lower attack of the sabers, where it chops a little bit. But here it's like knocking onto the wood. Here's like knocking onto the legs. You can even push back your opponent real far with the weapon itself. You can even chop and maintain distance, or just chop to just push him back and say, hey, you want a surprise? There you go. Like, push him back right there. Then we got the back move. That was one, and that was the full sequence. You used to push back, and also if you get up on the mid-range, this can be a perfect weapon move for you to use to get back onto battle and get back to close range. Now we got the heavy attack, which is looking halfway brutal in my impression right there, but it shows the supremacy of a big blade weapon that the Dynastian are wielding by jumping up and smashing down the blade towards the opponent, just like that. The special move that I'm going to be showing is first Hawk's Feather, which is 3 diagonal slashes that is performed without holding the blade upright but downright. So therefore, as you can see right there, he's not holding it upright, he's actually holding it flipped like a knife whenever the character is doing Hawk's Feather. It's a fancy shop move if you actually like, if you like to be a little sharper towards your opponent, if you like to shop around with your opponents. This is the weapon special move that you can prefer for yourself. It walks towards the opponent in the first move, but then it chops by within the second and the third sequenced move right there. Let me show you a gameplay example of this weapon itself, and there goes the basic combo that I do, followed by basic and also a back attack, throw, do the flip kick, this again, and rush you again, do the upper attack. Not surprised with the down, because you thought I was doing the down attack. Booyah. Keep continuing, and keep kicking, keep chopping, keep smacking the opponent in the corner. I can just simply do the Hawk's Feather. Let's look at the other special move that the Dadao has. And this one might be a little bit rushing, because it is for a fact spin and rush towards your opponent, with also pushing him back to keep a distance and plan your next move whenever you're pushing back your opponent. But it's a nice touch. It can be a nice touch to your style if you like to be spinning and rushing towards your opponent. This weapon special move right here is just for you. It spins around. It may halfway spin around with the first one, but the second slashes, it's just spinning. And it is also divided into 3 different slashes, 3 different section slashes that you can do. It's really fast. It's really fast, really strong, and shows also a part of the dynastian speed and power when swinging around the blade in a spinning manner. Let me show you guys an example when I'm using an accusation right here against a bot that cannot defend or just get hit all the time with blocking. Now that's just a little example right there. And now onto a weapon that makes most of the combos of the Dynastian faction, the one and only Match Blades. And the way I can prove it is just show you guys the moves. So we got the basic move, and all of these moves have combos. They're all filled with combos. The first move is really good for close range that can follow up with bothering the opponent with a lot of strikes that goes back and forth and goes down, jumps around, hitting the opponent a little bit more with combined staff, barrel jump, and finishing off by just spinning that staff around. You can even divide it to sequences, or it might be too lazy to do that actually. I'm not even entirely sure. Just look at that. And then we can throw the opponent around. Many would say actually that this is probably the best weapon in the game based on the dynastian style of doing fancy combos. And this weapon might just be for you if you're thinking of that for Dynasty. Let's do the upper attack. This one probably defines the character that people want to use. This weapon right here is the match blades right here. Let me show you again how it works. So it goes, does a kick, and then it flies around, does a double backflip with the match blades combined, and then thrusts it upwards to do an uppercut with the combined staff composite blade match blades. And it's just gonna show the device sequence, just like that. Then, if you stop doing that, we have the lower attack, which can be just doing that, or come on, just a kick and the full sequence. Really good to actually dodge small projectiles that the opponent might want to use if you actually do notice the ranged weapon shadow ability and which weapon that might belong, unless if it's a rare. If it's an epic or legendary, you should be able to notice what kind of shadow ability that belongs. If it's a shuriken or a dagger, then this lower attack is capable of actually counteracting and punishing the opponents who are throwing a weapon. Goes upwards and also pushes back the opponent with the last stab on the leg, just right there. Next we have a little bit cheeky one, because this is the back attack of the weapon itself. Let me just throw you back to show you. So this is the full sequence, and that was really brutal. Didn't even get to land the full sequence. Come on, let him show, game. Anyways, that's the full sequence. You can even just do this. This can be an alternative into. This is actually an alternative to the back handspring of Shell Fight 2. You just flip. You're just flipping around. You're just flipping. Just back flipping around, just like that, to cover a little bit more range. But it won't give you spirit, because spirit only counts on to rolls, jumps, kicks. But this is technically a jump, but it's actually a weapon special move because it starts with a kick and then slashing your opponent with the match blades combined. Let me show you the segmented sequence. Come on. I can do that. Well, I just gonna show you that you can do it 3 times and not do the 4th one, because it was supposed to be possible. There, just like that. That was the 3rd sequence. Now comes the heavy attack. The heaviest heavy attack. It rushes forward like a predator looking hunter. It rushes forward like a predator hunter. And all it does is to spin the weapons around, and your character spins as well. And the character does another spin with the weapons to where they landed both of the slashes, the secondary slashes, towards the opponent. Now, how would this all work? Although I don't have a special move, I might as well show the credit and give credit to the guy who I'm borrowing the video to show the special move, Bentrick, the only one special move that's existing as for now with the weapon itself. Of course, more special moves are sliding by. We just have to wait patiently, because I'm thinking for sure that the developers are going to be introducing more special moves, because the variety can't be just like this. It is good, it is a good variety, but we want to broaden the available perks and special moves for the whole entire game for us to collect and actually experiment and play around with the perks combined for either mixed factions or just pure faction. Anyways, let's get back to match plays and actually show you an example of how I can actually play with the match play itself. Does the heavy move right there, just push back the opponent. That gives you a perfect spot to do the cannonball. Do that, back throw. Can even do spring like that and do the back attack, followed by a kick and fancy upper attack, putting it into the corner, and then I can make it tense with all of the combos that I can provide with the basic attack. Just as simple as that. And that is all the weapons gone through. So let's show the ranged weapons and also the shadow abilities of the Dynasty. So for the last thing I'm going to be talking about is the current available sets that we have in the game now. It might sound weird that I put this to last, but I want to save this good piece of cake for last, because in the Dynasty faction we have 4 abilities, no 4 sets for the Dynastian faction, 3 legendary and 1 unique. One is the Tortured Nightmare, which is to actually weaken your opponent and cause bleeding that can last around a minute based on the cooldown set. It adds 2 tokens. That is the bleeding token of the Torturous Nightmare. When those tokens are added, they can only be removed by you attacking the player with the Torturous Nightmare set. You have to land a successful attack to remove that from you. Otherwise, the Torturous Nightmare is gonna do combo out to you and cause the bleeding to go all the way until you're almost knocked out, or actually knocked out while you're still weakened. Although the weakened attack will land, your attack will be weak when you actually land your shot against your opponent. Then we got the Star Chaser set, which is to enter shadow form permanently when your health is out. Just temporary time, but it's a permanent shadow form, temporary for like 10 seconds, where you can use all your shadow abilities. It becomes your second chance in shadow form. Third, we got a Guardian Dragon, which is to get more shadow energy for weapon attacks. It doesn't count really for throwing weapons. And then if we go to unique, we got one more set which is called Festival King, and each time you drink from this potion right here, this ranged weapon right here that I haven't been showing you. No, I actually did show. With the flask right here, you can get random effects when you wear the set. It will do a different animation. You will actually drink before you throw the actual flask, and that will give you strength, healing, or bonus shadow energy effect. And that was it. Let's actually do some video. I have a video to show you about playing a little bit dynastian, featuring the Torturous Nightmare set. Enjoy.